Hey guys, welcome back to another Spec adventure. My name is Tiffany and today we're going to be learning how to do a leak down test on my NB2 Mazda Miata. And so why are we doing a leak down test? Because we are still having an idling issue on my Miata and now we are getting like white smoke coming out from the exhaust pipe when I start my car, and we tested the coolant system and we've identified that there is a tiny leak. We weren't really able to see visually where the leak is coming from. So that basically points us to a direction where maybe, my car might have some motor issues, potential motor issues.
Here are the tools you'll need in order to do the leak down test. A compressor. So we chose to go with a 6-gallon pancake compressor. Ultimately, we don't really need anything bigger than this. If you think that you need something a little bit bigger, that's fine. But in our case, this pancake compressor was able to help us with our leak down test just fine. Hose adapters. You'll need these in order to connect the hose from the compressor to the tester itself. Next, the actual leak down tester. We got this from Harbor Freight, but it does not come with the hose that will go to the compressor. And that leads us to the next tool that you will need is the hose itself.
Oh my goodness.
Obviously, you don't need a hose this long, but this was the only one available that was on sale. And so that's what we got. It's 50 feet. It's actually not bad to get a longer hose because if you are working indoors like us, it's good to put the compressor outside because it tends to actually build up a lot of noise when you put it inside the garage and it gets very loud.
So this is basically the owner's manual and instructions for the leak down tester that we got from Harbor Freight. And in here there's like some good information, I think, that tells you like, okay, you're testing it, but like what do those numbers mean, right? Like, is it good? Is it not good? So over here on number 3, it actually talks about that. And it says that a good reading shows the compression loss of all cylinders at around the same rate. So essentially, I have 4 cylinders, right? And if all 4 of my cylinders show roughly the same PSI, that means I have, a good reading. A difference of 5 PSI between cylinders is acceptable. So if you have like a variation, like if there's a difference in number between one cylinder and another, but the difference is within 5 psi, it's still considered acceptable. The last line says a larger difference of 10 to 15 psi comparing one cylinder to the other indicates a problem. If you want more information about like how to read your leak down tester, there's some really good information here in the booklet that comes with the kit that you can go and explore.
The hoses to the compressor, make sure that the outlet is at 0, so that way you're able to attach the hose easily. And right now we have about 125 psi of air inside the tank, and we just need to regulate the outlet pressure to 100 psi.
Why does it need to be 100 psi?
Because this tool needs 100 psi. We're gonna be testing 100 psi. So you can see like both gauges right now, it's reading at the same because there's no loss right now. But we'll see once we attach it to the car and see like what the differences are.
So let's say one of them reads that you're pushing in 100 psi,
Yep.
and then the other one, if you only have like 80 psi, you're losing air.
20 psi of air.
So we've already taken out the spark plugs on all 4 cylinders, and Tommy said that each cylinder that we are testing needs to be at top dead center. So that's why we've removed the air intake tube so that we can access the crank underneath so that we can crank it to top dead center. There we go.
we have, what have we done?
We figured top dead center for cylinder 1.
And what we gonna do now?
We're gonna stick this thing in there and then hook it up to the kit.
Yep. So make sure the thread side is
It's this one, right?
the other, yeah, no, the bottom part.
This?
Yeah. They can screw into the hole.
Oh.
Pull the
Right.
the flange up.
Yeah, I know. I know. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
So
And then?
what you
turn
want to
ballot?
do, yeah. So what you want to do is pull the knob out. Out.
Is
yeah.
it gonna have air?
See? It's already out, I think. Yeah. Pull the knob out, and then you can turn. Yep.
To what?
To 100.
Is it leaking?
Yeah, something is leaking.
So as you're trying to find top dead center, just know that top dead center for a cylinder is not top dead center for another cylinder. And if you're finding that when you're hooking up the leak down tester, you're having a massive leak, go ahead and just like cycle through the motor using like the crank pulley until it makes like another, what do you call it? Like a
Round, I guess.
round, a revolution, or whatever you want to call it. And then try it when it's at the top, at that cycle. So as you can see, the left side is reading 100 psi because that's what we are feeding into it. And on the right side, it's reading approximately 93 psi. We have roughly a loss of 7 psi. So obviously doing the math, that would be approximately 7% loss. What's considered an okay amount of loss and what's considered like you need to fix that shit?
So even a brand new engine, there will be some loss of up to 5%. So anywhere between like 5% to like 15%, it's okay. The amount of loss could be just due to like, you know, wear and tear. The fact for cylinder 1, given the amount of mileage that you have, it's pretty damn good.
I had no doubts that cylinder 1 was going to do okay. My concern, honestly, is cylinder 3 and probably 4. So we'll continue doing the tests and we'll see if those other 3 are going to be reading the same.
This is cylinder 2, reading at 85 psi. We're seeing a 15% drop.
Cylinder 3, surprisingly good. Better than cylinder 2.
You're at 90, what, 92, 93? Yeah, 93.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So around a 7% loss.
And lastly, cylinder 4 at 95, only a 5% loss.
All 4 cylinders have been tested, and as you can see, 1, 3, and 4, 3 and 4 specifically, I'm very surprised, are doing very well. They're all around like 7 psi off for the 100 psi that we put in to test. So that's roughly a 7% loss, give or take. And then the only one that is a little bit lagging behind is cylinder 2. Which we have a loss of roughly 15%, so 15 psi. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look deeper into cylinder 2 to pinpoint what could potentially be the issue. All right, so we just conducted a wet test for cylinder 2, meaning we dropped some oil into the cylinder. It kind of acts as a seal for the ring itself, you know, because the oil is pretty thick and air doesn't leak from the place that has oil. So after doing that and running the tests, you can see here that it's actually reading better than without oil in it. So we're only losing 10 psi, basically 10%, rather than the 15% we had at first. We are now checking to see from cylinder 2 if there are bubbles coming out from the coolant, from the, what is this called again?
What, the radiator?
The radiator. Coming out from the radiator, but no bubbles.
Yeah, no bubbles, nothing.
So the speculation of coolant leaking into my motor because my motor is bad doesn't seem like that's what's happening.
No, I don't think so.
We've identified that cylinder 2 has a slight issue because on the dry test, cylinder 2 is reading 10 psi off from cylinder 1, 3, and 4. So we then performed a wet test where we put some drops of oil into it to kind of, you know, seal around the edges. And after doing that, the wet test for cylinder 2 read 90, meaning that there was still a 5 psi difference between cylinder 2 compared to cylinder 1, 3, and 4. So aside from the leak on the piston ring, there might be leaks somewhere else. Because we've identified cylinder 2 as the problem cylinder, we went ahead and, you know, put some pressure in there again to see if bubbles came up from the radiator to indicate that there is a leak in the coolant system, and no bubbles were found. You know, overall the test was super helpful as to why I might have an idling issue right now on the car. Perhaps it might be, you know, due to cylinder 2 underperforming versus all of the other cylinders. Maybe. We wouldn't know unless, you know, you probably took out the entire motor and like literally inspected everything on the inside, like the valves and all that other stuff, right? We wouldn't know, but we can make assumptions. So overall, the PSI reading across all 4 cylinders is still relatively in like an okay spec. I feel like I'm just gonna drive it as it is right now, and it does kind of give me a little bit confidence back. All the links to the products and tools that we use will be linked into the description below, so check that out. If you have any questions for us, leave them down in the comment as well. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for another Spec Geek adventure. Bye!